808 TGIF coming to you live on TVC Channel 40 on the cable's Ultra TV system. Winning from his website, WINNMediaSKN.com, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, X, formerly known as Twitter. We are Island T. Good morning.
Good morning to everybody. I just want to wish everyone a wonderful Friday morning. I trust that everyone is keeping well. For many of us, is the wind down on the week because, for most of us, the work week starts from Monday and winds down on the Friday. There are some persons who work on Saturday and Sunday as well, but the majority of persons, on Friday. But I always find that I have the most things to do on Friday because what I don't get to do for the week, I try to get it done at least by Friday before the weekend. So for me, it's usually one of the toughest days for me, at least, trying to get everything that I didn't get done in the week done today as much as possible.
But you have a home office, right?
I don't, but I take work home. It's inevitable. It's unavoidable.
Okay. You have a half a dining room table.
I have a little table there.
With
the work, yeah. So it's really something, But we have to work. Yesterday there was the Parliament, the National Assembly. I did not get a chance. I listened some of it. I did not get a chance to really ingest all of it as yet, because it was, when I look at it, it's about 3 hours long. I saw some of the major points being discussed in the social media, such as, there were amendments to the social levy and those kind of things. There was the resolution passed for the approval of the recommendation of increase in salary for parliamentarians. There was also the Minister of Labour indicated, the order for the minimum wage increase. So those are some of the things that stood out in the social media and stuff like that. And, we could really dissect it, but I would like an opportunity to actually go through it. But yeah.
Quick question. So with the minimum wage, like they announced it, but then it has to be legislated as well.
But this was part of the legislative process,
Right.
First, it has to go through its procedures. Again, there are persons who would have watched it to its entirety, and of course, if they want to comment at this point in time, they may.
I watched some of it, as I told you, but I had to come back down here.
Yes.
By the time I went back, they had adjourned, I think.
Yeah.
So that's it. They're not coming back today.
I am not certain.
You're not certain. Okay.
Yes. So I cannot say.
So someone let us know about if they adjourn, sign a die, or if they're coming back today.
So it was really a hefty debate on the social media, but for many of us who work throughout the day, we have to balance listening and getting through our daily tasks. For somebody like me who practices law as a sole practitioner, you have clients and deadlines to meet, and so even though you might see the social media posting, and so during the day, especially during a work day, it's very difficult to balance both. But thankfully enough, it is on social media. It has been streamed on ZIZ and everything like that. And so you could always go back and watch, and look for the salient points. But I do recognize that the Attorney General did come to Parliament, and he had his little, what you want to say, graphs or these charts, yes. Yeah. And so really putting a proposal as to why the increase for parliamentarians are valid. There are also persons out there who criticize the timing of the increase, indicating that, there had been no, for them, they have seen no real capital projects. And, a lot of persons criticize the timing as it relates to, a lot of social programs being, in many minds, persons have been saying that it has been changed, and there are some changes, changes to social programs. So it's up for discussion. And I think if, once we dissect it, we could come on Monday, once Monday has some time, and really go through it. But if there are persons out there who have comments, if they have listened and they want to weigh in, of course, it's for you. This show is for you to give your view. At about 8:15, 8:30, we should have a representative from the, Rasaya. He should be here.
Was it last Friday he was here?
Yeah, he's supposed to be here every Friday giving a giveaway. And then we have our fireproof program later around the 9:30 hour. So, we welcome those persons, and in between we are going to have discussion. So if persons have discussion points, they could weigh in. This program is for you to give your view on what affects us all. So Chef, what has been on your mind?
You willful. You see me over here avoiding the camera.
Why are you avoiding the camera, though?
That's my facial expression to show on my
mind. People saw mine when if people saw mine when like House of Assembly and these Church Street people are talking some of the times, man. Half the time I'm rolling my eyes.
Like Azard, though, I didn't have the chance. Yesterday was super busy for me, so I'm gonna try later tonight when I have some time. Baby's asleep to put it on and really listen. But what I don't even want to say because I have to listen it. But you said they're trying to get an increase.
Well, they have from what I saw, and I was really listening to the AG, the Attorney General, as I drove here this morning, because I did see the presentation midpoint yesterday when I was in the office, but then I didn't see the stat. And there were some recommendations to recommendations put forward, and so it's for the approval of those recommendations.
An increase to what?
Well, they say the average. Let me see. They say the average is about what, 25%, if I'm not
What do
mistaken.
they
Actually,
make
we had a maybe I'll wait until we should have time to play it at some point this morning. There was a story in the news. If I could, when Kevin come, I asked him to pull out that clip because he outlined all the increases, like say
Kevin.
speaker going from this to that.
That would be very beneficial. We did see, I did see something in circulation where the salary then and the salary now and the salary that is proposed, and so that was in circulation. But you get so many things in circulation, and at the time when you're looking for it, it's not there. But if you could look for the clip, that would be very instrumental in guiding
Kevin
the
would have
discussion.
to, because remember I was telling you that because they're part of the news, so I'll have to tell him, okay, Kevin, I need the clip we talked about
No problem.
the salary.
You think that could be done today, or you that problem?
No, when he comes,
Okay,
that should be easy. Yeah.
No problem.
We have a call. Let's see what they're saying. Okay, well, they hung up. But one of the things I wanted to say is, I remember back in, a few years ago, I remember Garth referenced 2018 when these discussions started, but it might have been slightly before. I'm remembering this from. Yeah, I think this is because I think the Labour government was in power at the time. I remember one of the things.
Which year you say?
It was before 2018. I think it was when Labour had first posited that. Remember, they set up a commission to look at raising the salaries.
2018?
No, a guy was referencing that 2018 Team Unity did something, but they never, after they got their recommendations, they didn't really move on them. But I remember before that, on the Labour government, they had set up a commission charged with looking at salary increases for parliamentarians and so on, and ministers. And one of the arguments given, which I agree with, is that to head off corruption, you need to pay them. You need to pay these people more. I remember one of the commissioners talking about that. That if you want to minimize corruption and so on.
That sounds like peace. That sounds like peace.
I wouldn't go that far, but no. So it's left to be seen now if these guys are getting these much juicier salaries. Let's see. Let's hope they'll keep their noses clean. Let's take this call.
Yes.
Which is not to say their noses weren't clean to begin with, but you guys get what I'm saying, because I mean, one of the things talked about is
yes,
it's better if you pay people, because a lot of these people would make more money in the private sector.
The Attorney General has messaged me and asked if he could call in, and certainly he can.
I'm sure.
So once we could perhaps facilitate a call with the Attorney General, the Honorable Garth.
So that's why you're cutting across him, because the Attorney General, because God said he want to call him?
No,
okay.
I got a call from the AG.
I was wondering why I'm talking and he's cutting across me. So
no, my apologies, Jamster.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't play that.
No, we don't at all. Yes, so my apologies. So you must remember that as well as we continue the conversation too.
Yeah. Okay.
So
he said he's gonna call in, right?
Yeah. Okay. Could we
okay.
perhaps
there's a call coming in.
Okay.
So. Wow. Okay. Okay, I'm looking at the phones, Kat. So whenever you want to call, I'll try and put it through as soon as you call. So yeah. So
we have been talking. I'm wondering if we could take a short break to facilitate the call. Maybe like a minute or a minute.
Oh, yeah, let's
take a short break.
No, let's try this.
Oh.
Let's see this.
Okay.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning. morning, Jamster. How are you?
Oh, hey, what's up? I figured it was you.
And you, please do not ever call me AG because I've known you for a long time. You could call me God.
Oh, God, I'm not exactly a fount of reverence, so.
Yeah, sorry. Good morning, everyone. I don't know if I'm on or I'm just talking to you.
Yeah, you're
Hello,
on.
good morning. We all
Okay,
can hear
good morning
you.
to everyone, Azard and everyone in the panel.
So go ahead. Yeah, you had
Yes, I was listening to the discussion. I just have a couple of questions to ask before we get into discussion because, naturally anything involving salaries is controversial. It's because it involves public servants, as I had indicated in my presentation yesterday. So I have a question. And Azard, I'm listening on the radio, so I don't know who's actually in the studio other than you and Jamster. But is it 3 of you or 4?
Oh, it's 3. We have.
Yes, Chevron.
Okay.
Chevron
Great.
Richards,
So I want to
yes.
ask a question. We're going to do a mini poll this morning. And I want the 3 of you to answer. Does that sound okay?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, good. Is it reasonable that the financial secretary, who is a technocrat in the government, should be making 24% more salary than ministers of government? Yes or no?
No, not reasonable.
I defer my answer.
I knew Azard would defer.
I have to think about that one.
Okay, all right. Think about it for a while. And the other person?
Let me think too, because it depends.
Okay,
It
good.
depends.
So should a director and a permanent secretary in a ministry be making a bigger salary than the minister to whom they report?
You see,
Let's do it a yes or no,
This-
and then we go to the discussion.
That's a no for me. Let me get mine out of the way.
generally speaking, that is often not the case. Generally speaking, I think that should not be the case, generally speaking.
Okay. Do you agree that over 19 years, the hardworking public servants received aggregate salary increases of 41%, but ministers of government and members of parliament received 0? Is that fair, yes or no?
Well, that is what happened. That is what has happened. You see, Gav,
Yeah, the question is that fair, yes or no?
you see, Gav, this is like cross-examination. When, you ask me yes or no questions, but they are so...
Yeah, but then we can discuss after. I'm not going to trap you to the yes or no.
So-
I'm going to
so-
let you explain.
I think we should have the discussion.
Yeah. For me, it depends because there are certain other benefits that may not be received in the form of a salary, but might be there to offset whatever. So I just don't have enough information.
And also to Attorney General, we would understand, and I do get the point that you're making, but again,
No, it's not my point. No, it's not my point. It's the Salaries Review Commission point. And that's why I asked the questions, because it's not my position, it's not the Prime Minister's position, it's not the Minister's position. It's the position of a Salaries Review Commission that was put in place by Unity. In 2018, they started their work. They submitted a report in September 2019. And that commission consisted of Howard McEachran, a well-known businessman in the local community, Dr. Stukumba Brown, KC, a well-known lawyer, the gentleman who was MD of National Bank, who's also a pastor, Bailey, Dr. Arnaldo Bailey, Brenda John, a well-known manufacturing leader, and Mr. Maitland, a well-known accountant.
okay.
So those persons came together in 2018, and in 2019 they submitted a report to the then government. They reviewed regional salaries of members of parliament, because it's not just about ministers, it's about all members of parliament, including the speaker, leader of the opposition senators, opposition MPs, etc. And then they analyzed things like, what are the salaries of civil servants? They mentioned things like, should somebody who's reporting to somebody else make a bigger salary than that person? They also discussed economic conditions, inflation, etc. And they recommended a 25% average increase for everyone, including Governor General, members of Parliament, Prime Minister, ministers of government, opposition MPs, speaker, etc. in 2019. And you would note that 2019 was pre-pandemic and pre the ultra-inflation that has occurred in the last few years, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not our justification. I don't want anybody to think that it's the government's report. It is the last government's report. And at the end of the day, isn't that reasonable for a government who was in opposition at the time, now that it is in government, it actually takes the recommendations of the opposition who was in government at that time and got a report prepared?
Well,
is that a fair process to go through?
It's as fair as doing likewise to all other recommendations.
That's yes, because my question is, what was your party's stand in what was your stance in 2019 when this was
the Prime Minister said it yesterday in Parliament. He said because the commissioners actually do come to the leader, the opposition. So our Prime Minister was then the chairman of the Labour Party. Dr. Douglas, senior minister, right honourable, was the leader of the opposition. So they were consulted by the commission. And they said, you need to increase civil servant salaries first and the minimum wage. And then we will consider your recommendations for increase with respect to parliamentarians. So the government, having been handed this report by the Governor General, the then Governor General, the late Tapley Seaton Casey, said we cannot do anything with this until we make things right for the most vulnerable in society. And we also increase civil servant salaries.
Okay.
So civil servant salaries were increased 41%. I want to make that clear. The last time members of parliament received an increase in their salaries was 2005, 19 years ago. Since 2005, civil servants, hard-working civil servants, have received 41% increase. The commission, balancing public service with reasonable compensation, said, okay, we are going to recommend an increase for members of parliament of 25% on average. And you may say, well, but some numbers can skew.
Honorable,
I can tell you,
Honorable Attorney General.
Yes.
The question is, and you put forward yes, but a lot of persons are asking whether the timing, the timing of the increase.
Is the timing ever good, Azard?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of criticisms, and persons are on social media. They're talking about reduction in social programs.
I understand that, but it hasn't been done for 19 years. So what should have been the timing? 25 years?
And many persons...
27?
I don't think they're talking about a timing per se, but the conditions of the place right now. And as he said, many social programs
the conditions of the place
are
what?
Well, if we listen to what the average person is saying on Facebook and on the street, they feel as if economically things are a bit tight. So perhaps we're seeing it wrong, but they're feeling like, okay, this increase is a bit much at the moment.
In addition to that, Attorney General, there are a lot of persons who are making the criticism, and they're saying that there has not been such emphasis enforced in other recommendations by the former administration. Why this? If others,
like what? Like which one?
The salary increase. You said that it was a recommendation.
No. Which other recommendations from the opposition? Because your party leader, well, not party leader, your deputy party leader, publicly stated yesterday he agreed, and that the People's Action Movement, the party of which you are chair, would have done that had it before the leader of Unity.
Well,
I saw that post on Facebook yesterday.
Our deputy leader indicated that, yes, on Facebook, but as a host of this program, I have to bring other views of persons in the society, the community, and perhaps the nation. And so when I speak on different platforms. And so these are some of the...
I understand what you're saying. If people are of the view that there's an economic crunch, then you could understand that they would have some unease with
and we
a
understand
19-year
attorney
salary increase.
we understand all of those, and we understand too, if we're looking at it as a region, Dr. Drew, the Honorable Prime Minister, was ranked 10 top Caribbean leaders when it comes to the salaries. Now with the increase,
No, it wasn't salaries. It wasn't highly paid.
I think it was.
Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. No,
Yes. There was
I don't think it was in top. Well, when you look at the comparisons, I can tell you, if you look at what was done recently, the Salaries Review Commission in Trinidad, for example, just released their report, and they are a constitutional body. They recommended that the Prime Minister make, I think it's $41,000 salary.
But there was
in Jamaica last year, they recommended that their Prime Minister make, I think it's $33,000. Our Prime Minister's recommendation in this report is $15,000.
But if you look at the recommendations in Jamaica, and I go to Jamaica because I'm current with it in terms of information, they put a pause, did they not?
No, he did. No, only the Prime Minister did not take it.
Okay, so
but not taking it and recommendations. I was using it to show that the most recent recommendations. The other one that has been done recently regionally is Grenada. What Grenada did is Grenada changed, I think, the allowance or the salary for members of parliament was, I think, either less than 1,000 or around 1,000, and they moved it across the board to 5,000 each. That's separate and apart from their ministerial role. So they did theirs differently in terms of tying it to members of parliament.
And if you look at the post that the Honorable General Powell, former Minister General Powell made, he made that on his private Facebook page. And so, but we're not going to get into that discussion. But there has been talk, and I get what you're saying, but I'm going based on what has been recommended. Let's say because they still would, recommendations have to be passed, have to be implemented. And so there is information circulating now as to the salaries of prime ministers, and Dr. Drew ranks as 10th. With that proposed change, he now ranks as, he would rank as number 2.
No, he would not.
Based on where would he rank?
No, because the Salaries Review Commission also included in the report, which you'll see, because it's been tabled now, so it will be published.
Okay, so we will get more information.
All of the comparative prime minister salaries that they tabulated, so they took that into consideration.
And why is it then, Attorney General? I know you said that in Parliament that you're brave, but why is it that other ministers didn't come up and try to speak on the matter?
So one person in Parliament cannot speak on behalf of the government?
I've never said that.
The Salaries Review Commission Act there's actually legislation that requires the report to be prepared. So naturally, the Attorney General's office was asked to review the report and make recommendations. So we're the ones that dug deep into it. So the Prime Minister assigned me to give the position of the government with respect to the report, because it's of a legal nature.
Okay, I know that in your statement you said that you're not afraid to be the only one speaking on it. Not only one. No, I said I'm not afraid to be the one that speaks about it. Okay. Not the only one. Okay. Everybody in Parliament had a chance. Opposition was there. Everybody had a chance. But I was the one that represented the government's position. Okay.
Well,
I realized that nobody was there from your party.
May I ask a question?
It would have been good to hear that position.
Okay,
I tease you, Azard. I tease you, Azard.
From a layman's point of view,
they don't know that we are colleagues, so we know each other.
Yes, and of course I give you the respect due to your position.
And I give it to you as well. But I have to take my children to school right now.
Can I ask one question?
I just wanted to call in. I heard the conversation. I have no issue with the debate. It's an important debate for our democracy. I just wanted to give you some flesh on the discussion from our perspective. Quickly? And also I want to there's this rumor well, it's actually a lie, and going around.
Oh, well, looks like he got dropped somehow. Yeah, I was just about to. Okay, maybe call got
so
dropped.
we appreciate the calling
Definitely.
from
And
the Honorable Attorney General.
I was trying to get in a question before,
Yeah.
he got cut off.
Yes.
My question was everything about the
Oh,
salary.
okay.
Oh, he's back?
He might be calling back.
Okay.
Yeah. Island T, on here. He says, Gap. Hello.
It's the same Gat,
Oh, okay.
I got something to ask. Gat, this is your friend Jam Down. Why is it you all ain't wait a while? Walk 2 years now, walk 3 years. Why so sudden? As the young girl there said, Gat. It's a big serious in the country with money. Poor people getting the kind of money. And this program is striking out. It's a concern that you is my friend and we going to Parliament don't go to until later. You know we don't go to one little Parliament. But it's a big concern, as the young girl said. The country is not gravitating right now with money. It's a problem. Have a good day.
So the question,
Okay.
if I might just quickly, I'm hearing the support of the increase has to do with regional trends because it's 19 years overdue, because a lot of stuff. But in government, okay, in other businesses.
Wait, hold on. This might. Good morning, Island T.
Yeah, good morning. I want to comment on.
Okay, I want you to be quick because we have to take a break and go to the next segment. I was just got dropped. I was hoping he was that you were here, but go ahead quickly.
But I'll call back.
Okay, thank you
Okay.
so much, caller. Do call back. We will
Okay.
have the time.
Let's take a quick break.
WINN is 98.9. 98.
Studied hard at school, didn't wanna be a fool, but you're still not in the game. Girlfriend live in large, big house and car, that's because she's in the game. Life seems real tough, bills keep going up, and you're still not in the game. It's not that hard for all that to change, it's time to get in the game. You have to be in it to win it. Super Lotto, in it to win it. Super Lotto, in it to win it. Super Lotto, you have to be in the game. Only $6 to play, so play today. Only $6 to play, so play today. Only $6 to play, so play today. You have to be in the game.
Get your tickets from Caribbean Lottery retailers island-wide.
Get your blitz on. Get your blitz on. Get your blitz on. Cash Blitz.
Play Cash Blitz and get your blitz on. Cash Blitz is here, the newest scratch game from the Caribbean Lottery. With 4 tickets to choose from and the chance to win the big ticket top prize of $200,000. So get your blitz on today at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. Must be 21 and over.
Get your blitz on. Cash Blitz.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, we're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
And we are back. It's 8:38 Island T. We've got Ras Aya, and don't forget it's Black History Month and Heritage and History Month here in St. Kitts Nevis, and of course in Nyabingi Theocracy Order. They've got a giveaway today as part of their celebration of St. Kitts Nevis History Month. Hey, what's up, Ras?
Greetings, give thanks, brother Jamster, and give thanks, brother Azard, and give thanks, mother of creation, my joy of peace, of love, and happiness. Give thanks to Win FM for giving us the airwave again to ask a nice black eye story question to our people listening.
So we know persons have been winning with win, and they continue to win with win. And we are giving away gifts. And so, Ras Aya, last time you came here, you had your question and you mapped those papers very hard. You didn't even get a half mark. It's either whole or nothing. You understand?
Yeah.
So callers, when you call in, be mindful that our marker here, Ras Aya, he's a very hard marker. So tell us.
Yes, give thanks. We are here at our celebration for Black Eye Story Month, and we are in our activities within the Black Eye Story Month. So, but this is just something that we have been able to foster with WINNFM to pursue for every Friday in the month of February, and this is the last Friday in the month. But I mean, next week we have another question coming along, So just to complete everything and give thanks to the power of the Almighty to having I here in the presence of all the people listening to WINNFM on Island T. I really doing a little ganja here first, but me have minds. Thankful. Anyway, let's go forward in the question.
Yes.
Name the first Chi Calypso Union King. Calypso King and the first Carnival Calypso Queen.
So you're taking us back to Carnival days, back in the past.
Yeah, let me see how many people was a little icon in the music and the time of devils in the early days.
So let me see if I get this right. You want the first three kings and the first female Calypso monarch?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice question. Okay, so folks, give us a call 466-0989, 662-0989, and 762-0989. In the meantime, I have your week of your month of activities. You guys had your island-wide food hamper distribution on Wednesday, and yesterday you had you were supposed to visit the Carty home. How did those activities go?
Yes, Wednesday we had the food island distribution, and we were able to go to the elderly and the needy of the communities that we have seen fitting to give as a part of our food hamper distribution, and it was well received. So we start from the Sandy Point and come up into the Basti area and went to Keon, reached out to, from Keon went to Lodge, and from Lodge we went into Passing Ground, and from Passing Ground we went into St. Paul. So these are the areas we identified to give food hamper distribution to our people in the communities.
Okay, folks, just reminding you of the question. Okay, we have our first caller. Island T, you're on the air. Okay, we missed that one. Okay, so once again, the question, the Nyabingi Theocracy Order, Ras Aya, he wants to know the first three Calypso Kings and the first female Calypso Monarch. Pretty easy. Well, yeah, pretty easy, but pretty interesting question. So you were saying, is there anyone you want to thank in terms of contributors, maybe persons who would have contributed to the food,
yes,
the food distribution and so on?
We would like to thank many of the people who have taken out their hard time and give us some financial support in this gesture that we are able to come together and able to see that was fitting to give back to the community. So these are the words that we see of His Imperial Majesty have taught to I, as they say, charity begins at home, you know.
Okay, but you haven't said thanks to anyone. No,
we don't want to call them.
You don't want to call names.
It's so much in it.
What about the Carty home thing yesterday?
Yes, in the Carty home yesterday we went and we were well received by one of the workers because we didn't get to meet the general manager at the area. But I don't know how we get to give the food hamper distribution to the Carty home, and then we had some interact with the patrons them who live on the Carty home compound, and they was able to thankful for what we have come in the Carty home. So there was some reflect back at some of the people them who we engaged with, and it was a good talk with some of them who we engaged with. We went into the area where we see the female part, and we show them that what we come here to do, and they say they thank us for coming and bringing that gesture in support to what the Carty home is about, you know.
Okay. All right, folks, we're looking for an answer for the question posed by the Nyabingi Theocracy Order. What's the giveaway prize?
Lunch for two at the ITAL Creation.
Okay, lunch for two at the ITAL Creation is up for grabs if you can name the first three Calypso monarchs and the first female Calypso monarch. That's pretty easy, I would say.
I hope many people have a reflect back in what the music was in the early time.
Mm-hmm.
And so today now you tribute to our Masters of Naibingi Theocracy Order within the Rastafari community. Where's that going to be?
Martyrs, not masters, martyrs.
Oh, martyrs, yes. Oh,
yes.
Did I say masters? Oh, yeah, martyrs, yeah. Okay.
So the martyrs are people who have made the contribution and the sacrifice they have did, and they're gone now onto the great beyond. So we're going to pay homage at the graveside, starting from the Sandy Point area coming up to Bastia. So we'll stop off in Sandy Point first, then go into Challengers, just on the outskirts of Trinity. There, the Anglican Church, Azard, that's a part of your consistency area. And then we come into Bastia to complete the whole form of the tribute to the martyrs until next month. We have one of our martyrs going to the great beyond. So we will follow up on that in the next venture of our week activities for African Liberation Day.
Okay. It's a 8:45. We got some ITAL food up for grabs, some ITAL creations. Give them the question again, Rasai.
Yes, give thanks, and I would like to start again saying, name the first Chi Carnival Calypso King and the first Carnival Calypso Queen. And we ain't giving a year, we're just calling the names. So, Mama Henry, blessed morning to you. The question is on your floor too.
Okay, so we're looking for some callers to answer that question. Where's ITAL Creations located?
On the outskirts between Buckley's and just behind of the army camp.
Okay, yeah, I think that's kind of what I had in mind, but so it seems like I was right. Okay, so we're looking for the first three Calypso monarchs, who were all male, by the way, and then the first female Calypso monarch. Let's go to the phone lines.
First female Calypso monarch.
Yeah, Island T, go right ahead.
Hello.
Hey.
Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
First Calypso, first street. Levi Week, Teleman. And Miss Brooks. I can't remember her Christian name, but Miss Brooks.
No, you
guy who's play music sister.
You have a wrong answer there, my virgin from Challengers. My virgin from Challengers, you have a wrong answer there.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know you're the L in the field.
Back to back.
But you're the L in the field, and I don't think you have the right correct answer what I have on my information.
I think he thinks you're asking for Miss Sankets. Miss Sankets Nevis, yeah.
Yeah, I think the
Calypso monarch, female Calypso monarch, yeah. Okay.
Wait, yeah, Russ, could you repeat the questions?
Yes, I repeat the question again to all the audience who are listening so they can hear what we're saying properly.
All Calypso, go ahead.
Name the first Chi Carnival Calypso Kings and the first Carnival Calypso Queen. Calypso Queen, not pageant. Calypso Queen.
Okay. So it's Calypso all around.
All around.
So you're talking about the first three kings of the Calypso, and then you're talking about the first queen.
Yes, only Calypso.
Yes. So I think that's where the gentleman from Challengers.
The elder. We're in a gentleman business, yeah.
Let's take a call. Island T, you're on the air. Hello, Island T, you're on.
Morning.
Hey,
Good morning.
Hey.
Blessed,
Blessed love.
Yeah, good morning, blessed love, man. Now, the first Calypsonian was King Entertainer, Leroy Wixom Kean, Element, Entertainer, I think Entertainer Chief Heat, and then the first female Calypso Queen was the Independent. That is, I think is the girl Willett.
You have
forgot it right.
You have two, you answer them wrong, so you gotta go back to the classmate again.
Wait, to me answer them wrong?
Yes, my virgin. I said she may say to name another one to double. Three of them, and three of them is individual male. So it's different name of the chi of the kingdom of the first Calypso king. We're looking at repeat. Is not what we say.
Okay, all right, okay.
Give thanks.
Okay. I'm gonna come again.
I really had to mean. I wonder, I like no Johnson, man, how I get this kind of position doing this.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Being in the classroom again.
You. But I thought someone would have won. Somebody would have won this ITAL with the first bat, right? Okay, here we go again. Island T, you're on here.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, greetings.
Entertainer.
Yes.
King Element and King Star Sheila?
No, you're off the bat right now, my sister.
Sometimes like the reverse psychology thing to do is give people like an easy thing, and you think people. I thought somebody would have gotten this already. Island, you're on the air. Hello.
Greetings.
Hello, caller. Go ahead.
I'm going to stump you now.
Well.
Entertainer twice. King Elimat.
Uh-huh.
And Miss Willett.
You're going in the wrong direction. Go out of the wicked salon, please.
Okay.
You come again.
But wait, clarification.
Mm-hmm.
If Willett won more than once, so that means you want them to say Willett once and then one other person who is not Willett.
You think how the answer to this family is not, even though we know of the person who they're referring to as being cheapy, we ain't looking at no cheapy.
So you want 3 different people?
3 different names.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, okay.
That is what we're verifying on.
Okay, let's go back to the phone line. 850, caller, go right ahead. Win some ital.
Yes, I've put back on my pad,
What you do?
I got me back and me tip.
Mind the Google ain't come down on here, you know.
Well, okay, we're going to see now.
Yes.
Entertainer twice. Elimat.
Mm-hmm.
And singing Jackie.
You have bass again.
Well, something like them fresh done.
You're supposed to be a man of music.
Okay, let me ask this question, because is it that you're talking about the first female win of the national monarch, or because the females had a competition as well, the Calypso competition?
You don't listen to me question.
I think he means the female in the.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. But I think some persons.
When Cindy Jackie and them, they was a part. He had another well-informed, and she was a part of administration at that time. So, me ain't no more further than that.
Caller, go ahead.
I think some people are confusing. That's why I wanted to.
Caller, go ahead.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Greetings and morning.
Entertainer, Elimat, Sweeney.
Yeah, sound good. Yes. You have
Queen Independent.
And who?
Queen Independent.
My sister, that love it to give me some more heart, well-formed love, but you're gone into a different joy of peace. But happiness, the last question, the last answer you gave wasn't the answer we're looking at. So good
Thank
try,
you.
my sister. Azard, forget.
On to the next.
We have a parliamentarian who do something in music. As a female.
A parliamentarian?
A former parliamentarian.
Hello, go ahead, caller.
Yeah, look, man, these questions by Raphael.
Mm-hmm.
The ladies, Justin Martin.
Wow.
Entertainer. Elimat. And Sweeney.
But you guys, why you how much 6'8"? You win, my brethren, you win. You see how you sound in the meditation of love? So thank you for answering this question, my brethren. What's your name? Jam, so you take your name and we left the...
Well, I ain't living St. Kitts, but it's somebody who really need it.
But give us your name so we could say who you be, so the person will be thankful for your contribution still.
Hugo, just say Hugo, man.
Okay, give thanks, my brethren. And anyone who would like to receive it on behalf of Hugo, I would just like to you all to give Jamster a call so he can even say...
I can't also think about anybody in particular, but I got a lot of people, I got a lot of friends in McKnight, who could probably do that, man.
Truly, my brethren. Well, once somebody come and identify.
Okay, let me be specific.
Okay.
Give somebody from McKnight.
Oh.
Okay. Well, thank you. McKnight. Well, I'm from McKnight too, but me not take none.
But let me say this, caller.
Are you from McKnight before you? Don't worry.
Caller, what you could do, right?
Yes,
you could contact Jamster privately, and if you think of a name in the afternoon.
That's what I'm saying. I cannot think about any individual.
Okay,
no problem.
Just somebody from McKnight.
We'll leave it to you, Aya.
Yeah, I will do that for you.
Yes.
I will do that on your behalf, my brethren.
McKnight and choose somebody, man.
Yeah, I will do that on your behalf because my mother, I won with, who's in Puerto Rico, she is my breadwinner from my upcoming in the humble beginning of McKnight, and then I went to your tongue when I was at 8 years old. And from since that.
You just come, man. Don't
worry about me, a revolutionary. I'm glad for your good works.
Yes.
And your contribution. Thanks a lot for answering the question.
Thank you so much.
So you see, Azard.
So say the question again.
The question is said, name Carnival Calypso King and the first Carnival Calypso Queen. Here is the first Carnival Calypso Queen. So Jacinth Henry Martin was the right answer because she partook in singing too. And she was a member of parliament under the former Denzel Douglas administration. Remember that?
So, okay.
Wait. But, wait.
You're
but Jacinth didn't win, though. You said the first Calypso Queen.
Calypso.
Calypso. But Jacinth didn't win.
Yes, she win. That's why we give that information there because the Virgin was on the bar.
Jacinth won on the National Senior Calypso Monarch competition.
You're saying that Jacinth Henry Martin won a Calypso competition.
See the answer there you all want to see. My sister, I hope you do some research and correct Johnson as that for us, please. And Johnson do your research, so please.
She actually would have heard.
Yeah, but he said the
first Carnival Calypso Queen. That's what the question was asked on. Carnival Calypso Queen.
I'm pretty sure.
Jacinth sing before she went into politics, right?
Of course, yes.
So those are implications.
Yes, but she didn't win. That's what I'm saying. She made the finals and she did very well, but she didn't win.
You sure of that, Jamster? Because I can remember I was up there too,
Where is Monarch and Biff and all these people when you need them?
Well,
to call,
them,
right?
Send them.
And Noah.
Send them because no, don't even know guy now yet.
Let's see what this caller has to say because this is a point of contention. Caller, go right ahead.
Yeah, Jamster.
Yeah.
I think where the whole thing is getting confusing. Jacinth Henry Martin win when there used to be a female calypso competition.
Is a calypso queen? He's saying that calypso, so is all that in the content.
The first national female monarch would have been Queen Independent.
That's why I'm gathering.
Jacinth Henry Martin. You remember they used to get the separate ladies.
Yes, and that is why
Jacinth Henry Martin won.
And Ras, remember I asked you whether you mean the female competition or the national
and you said no.
Competition. Yes,
you said right.
You said Carnival.
The national is Lady Independent.
Hear me say.
The female competition. When it used to run with Jackie and all of them, was Jacinth Henry Martin.
But he said first Carnival.
So I think it was
Calypso,
the question was confusing to the public.
Yeah, I think it's the problem with the question.
But my brethren, he said first Carnival Calypso. He didn't say national.
Yeah, but I asked you about that and you said yes. I said
Carnival, not national. So sorry about in this sense. But time for correction too.
So technically it's right, but I understood it as the first female among the men.
And that's why I asked clarification because I figured that's what he meant. First,
thank you.
Jacinth Henry Martin won when it used to be ladies alone.
Yes.
The national competition would have been lady and the men.
Yes.
So you see,
Queen Independence went with lady and men.
Yes.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for the for clarification, my virgin.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Who that? Who the president?
The president of the blindest. The Association of the Blind. Yeah.
Okay. Give thanks.
He's sharp.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot again for having us here.
Thank you for being here.
But before you go, I have to. This is from a Calypsonian. He said, "Well, she didn't win the competition," meaning. And he said that the question is confusing, but technically it was right. But it's just that some people looking at it differently. Like I realize,
that's how he phrased the question.
Yes.
The question should have been phrased to say the first female winner. Well, but I mean, phrased differently.
Yeah,
okay.
It was kind of ambiguous. Yeah,
the men and women.
The men and women.
Together.
Yes, as opposed to the female competition.
Yeah.
So in a case like that, maybe you should have said. The first female to win the female competition. Yeah. But technically it's right. She's still the first Calypso queen.
Yes. And a queen independent. No disrespect to her.
Okay, so
I will sip my tea.
So, okay, guys. Okay, 1 minute to 9 o'clock. Rasaya, well, thanks for the interesting brain workout you gave everybody this morning.
Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go take a break.
Yes.
All right.
Come
And
back.
bless you all safely through the rest of the day.
No
Thank
problem.
you, same to you.
Enough love.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Grow and Glow, Hortford's Building and Neva Center's 25% off lawn and garden show. Happening now at Hortford's Building and Neva Centers. Every day is a lawn and garden show. Step into the world of lush greenery and vibrant blooms with our Grow and Glow Lawn and Garden Show sales event. Transform your space with 25% off all lawn and garden products. From quality lawn and garden tools and equipment to premium fertilizers, we've got everything you need to make your garden flourish. But hurry, these deals won't last forever. It's time to create the garden of your dreams and let your outdoor space grow and glow. Visit us today at Hortford's Building and Neva Centers and watch your garden grow and glow while supplies last. Visit Hortford's Building and Neva Centers today and let your garden shine with our 25% off Grow and Glow Lawn and Garden Show. Your oasis awaits, so seize the savings now. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
We are back, and phones are going crazy for some reason. But okay, let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, go right ahead.
Greetings, IT.
Oh, hey, what's up?
I'm good. Everyone is highway?
Yes.
Yes.
How are you?
I am well, once you are well.
Yes.
it's
Thank you.
Okay, give thanks to all the sharing so far. You know, when you was with the Honorable Attorney General,
Yes.
the proposed salary of the Honorable Prime Minister of Jamaica, the 33,000 it was. What kind of currency is that?
I mean, I have to get back the facts. I know.
Please research that for us, please.
Yes. The Honorable Attorney General, we are going to have him back again right now, so we could listen to we could ask more questions.
Okay, so do you want me to jump off the line? I wanted to say other things.
Okay, what other things you want to say while we prepare?
Okay, good. Well, I still indicated that the question just now. We give thanks to the observation of the Black Story Month, the week of activities of the Nyabinghi Order. Chancellor said it that the question is interested, but we find the question not appropriate for the observation of the Black Story Month, even though the persons involved is black people. It should have been different. It's not an appropriate question. And we pointing out that we want to say, we look at the Bob Marley's movie that is on right now, and we notice that the inclusion of Raskumi, Mortimer Plano, a very up there elder in the Rastafari way of life. He's actually Bob Marley's teacher, you know. And we met Raskumi, we lived with him at one time in the Nyabinghi Tabernacle area at Scotts Pass, which Marley's given to the Nyabinghi Order. And we also journeyed with him when he was taken at the University of the West Indies to teach Rastafari. Honorable President, I think. And he passed there, you know. So we stay with him right up to death. And we know his height, and we give thanks to the inclusion of that. And that is the problem that we are having around and about. We're hearing an echo.
Okay, yeah, we have another call on the line. That's why.
We just wanted to seal up that by just 1 minute, just for a second.
No. Okay. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you.
We'll call forward.
Yes.
Okay, we finally got Gat back on the phone. Hi, Gat, go ahead.
Hi, good morning again, everyone.
Hi, good morning. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. And you're live on air. Yes. So we
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh, sorry, yes. Before I got cut off, I was saying that there is a lie going around on social media. Sorry, I'm hearing an echo, Jamster.
No, you sound perfect here.
Okay,
Actually.
good. Yeah, there's a rumor / lie going around on social media this morning that ministers' nightly subsistence is $400. That's not true. The Salaries Review Commission report confirmed that the policy is when a minister travels within the OECS, the nightly subsistence is 100 EC, and when a minister travels outside of the OECS, the nightly subsistence is $100. So I just want to clarify that. And there's another thing in the WINFM article about the resolution. It started off by saying I said that to deter corruption, you have to pay ministers more. That's not what I said. What I said was, as Jamsa had pointed out, St. Kitts and Nevis has seen 2 reports on salaries of members of parliament. The first one was informal, set up by the Right Honorable Denzel Douglas in 2005. That commission consisted of Charles Brisbane, OBE, Omax Gardner, both of blessed memory, and Emil Ferdinand, KC. In that report, they quoted from the former governor of the central bank, also of blessed memory, Sir Dwight Venner, who had done a report for St. Vincent. And one of the things that was mentioned in that report was the Singapore model, which is that you pay ministers well and you have strong anti-corruption legislation, is a good combination to ensure that ministers work hard and do not involve themselves in corruption. So it was taken out of context when I said it at the press conference last August. So I want to make that clear. It is very important for us to mature as a society, for there to be hard-working professional ministers. It's also important that we do not bleed money out of the treasury through corruption. We have seen a lot of systematic corruption since we have taken office 18 months ago. We're not involving ourselves in that, whether there was a salary increase or not. But structurally, the Singapore model, Singapore being probably the model island state in the world, introduced strong anti-corruption. I would argue that we have equivalent, and I'm talking about now, as of November 2023, when all of the relevant legislation was brought into force, we have one of the strongest good governance, anti-corruption structures in the world. And I don't say that as boasting. I'm saying that because our office sat down and looked at the anti-corruption legislation throughout the world, Taiwan, Singapore, Cayman, St. Lucia, all over. And we kind of combined all of it. So now we have the Anti-Corruption Act. We have the Integrity in Public Life Act. We have the Whistleblowers Protection Act. We have the Freedom of Information Act. The Public Accounts Committee is going to be set up. So the structures to ensure that there is no bleeding of the treasury through corruption are very strong in St. Kitts and Nevis. And in 2005 report, the then commissioners, which was also adopted in the position of the 2019 commissioners, was that you pay ministers well and you have a strong anti-corruption legislative structure. And that is how the country will bloom. Before, we took office, there was little to no anti-corruption structure, and ministers were paid less. Well, not then. It's since the most recent increase. Ministers were paid similar to their permanent secretaries at a salary of $8,500 a month. That is why, Azard, I was surprised with your position, because the position of your deputy leader publicly yesterday was that the intention of your party was to do that, bring in integrity in public life, and then increase salaries.
Okay, before you go on, Attorney General.
All of this debate, all I want to do, because there are always going to be different opinions. I encourage you to listen to my entire speech yesterday, because I referenced a lot of statements, very long statements from President Loong of Singapore, who made statements in 2012.
Okay, Attorney General, you indicated before you go on, you indicated that my position, when I came here, I didn't indicate a position. I asked questions. I said that there are persons in the social media, there are persons who are saying X, Y, and Z, and I have brought forward what persons have been saying. A position yet, for me, at least, is still in contemplation. I have to look at everything, and then I will make a statement. So.
Understood. Sorry about that then.
No problem.
You don't have a final position. I understand.
So what I am saying, that there's a lot of criticism and a lot of persons have been saying, and this is what persons are looking at, whether or not there's genuine concern, and we have to ask the question whether or not there's a genuine concern, because look at the increase that was given to civil servants. And yes, civil servants have been getting an increase over the years. And so persons said last year, when it was announced that civil servants will get the 8% in January, that the parliamentarians were just making their way for their increase as well. So a lot of persons are thinking that maybe it is that the 8% that was given to civil servants weren't even genuine in the first place.
That's not true. Okay. Because if you look at what the administration has done since taking office 18 months ago, we removed tuition for students at CFBC. Your students, Azard, because you're a teacher there, a lecturer there.
Yes.
Right? So they no longer have to pay tuition. We created a program, when I say we, I'm talking about the government, created a program by which children who need emergency foreign medical care can access a fund. And the parents don't have to raise that money locally. They can get that care. Development Bank student loans were reduced from 9% to 5%. And the payments do not have to be made until 4.33 years after. That means the person can finish their degree. The parents don't have to pay interest. They don't have to pay a cent until 4 1/3 years have passed since they took their student loan. The Prime Minister has given numerous CBI dividends and independence stimulus packages into the economy. GAE workers who are the most vulnerable, who make the least salary, got gratuity and also pension. Minimum wage was raised from $360 to $430 with a guarantee that it will go to $500 in mid-July. There are a lot of other economic stimulus packages that have been brought. Civil servants received an 8% increase to make their increase in over the last 19 years to be 41%. So it wasn't as if there's one thing. The Prime Minister introduced the $1,000 for all children and the financial literacy education program where money will be invested on behalf of the children of this country into local businesses. This, I understand politics, no. And I understand that there will be people who will try to pick one of those 100 things that have been done and say, well, that's the only reason you did. That's not true. That's not true. The point is that salary increases for civil servants were necessary because of ultra inflation. This is something that is affecting the entire world. It's not St. Kitts and Nevis alone. So you have to be reasonable. You have to ensure that public servants make up almost close to half of the workforce in the country. So you have to make sure that those people are able to keep up with the change in prices that we've seen since the pandemic. And the Salaries Review Commission report Act says that a salaries report can be done every 3 years. So we could have done a new salary report, which would have been different because it would have taken into consideration the ultra inflation that has occurred since 2019 when the original report, but we didn't do that. So I would argue, and we are a democratic society, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I would be willing to go and argue with Jamdong, which I probably will do, because we have our own parliament at Port Zante, as he said, that the steps that the government has taken have been extremely reasonable.
So,
particularly because of the strengthening of the good governance and the anomalies that currently exist. So that Jamster has voted that he doesn't agree with it.
Okay, so there's a list circulated, and it says salaries.
Not Jamster, not Jamster, Jamdong.
So salaries resolution, and there's a list being circulated saying the gross monthly income since 2005. And I'm going to go to Attorney General because then you'll be best suited to answer whether or not this is really true. So it has here gross monthly income since 2005. Attorney General, $15,150 gross.
Yes.
And the review commission, since the review would give Attorney General $20,360, a 26% increase. So this is accurate?
That is the accurate amount. That is the amount that was taken from the board that I had in Parliament. The people are calling me the teacher. That's the board I took with the scales. Because this is not about hiding anything, I am a public servant. So the taxpayers pay my salary. They should know what it is. So that is a 26% increase. But my salary is $12,300. What happens is the Attorney General of the country gets a salary as well as a pay in lieu of private practice, which you know about, Azard, because I believe you got that when you were in the public service, correct?
So that lieu of private practice? Yeah.
Yes.
A little stipend, yeah.
Okay. Yes, exactly. And then you get other small, like I think we get like a housing allowance of like, I can't remember exactly the figure, but that is what takes it up there. But the actual salaries, which are the most important, let me tell you why the salary is the most important. The salary is what determines your pension. So the Prime Minister's salary is $15,000. The Minister's salary is $11,600. And my salary is, the salary for my post is $12,300. I noticed the caller. I didn't hear the entire call that was just before me, but I heard him ask if the figures that I gave were in EC. And yes, what we did at the office is that the various prime ministerial salaries to EC. So, for example, in the Salaries Review Commission, they did it on an annual basis. So, for example, Barbados, I don't have my calculator with me, but in Barbados, in the report, the Prime Minister for Barbados makes $106,000 US per year. So if you do the maths, that's probably around 6 to 16.
So
6 to 16. So if you add 270 plus 16, so like 280, 286 or something like that. So you divide that by 12. What you get, Jamster?
Jamster.
Yeah, I was kind of multitasking here.
so just a minute.
Say 290 divided by 12. So various the Salaries Review Commission 2019 reviewed comparatives and decided, but the point I was making earlier about the Jamaica and Trinidad example is that those were even more recent salary commissions. The Jamaica one, which culminated in 2023, the Trinidad one, which was just released, and their recommendations were Prime Minister, which you can gauge everything else from, was 31,000 and in Jamaica, I think, and 44,000 in Trinidad.
Okay, so let me ask you questions, because these are questions. Persons are saying that, the administration, your administration is there for less than 2 years, and this is something that you guys focus on. What you say to persons who made that comment?
Focus?
Yes.
Well, people not accustomed for 18 months for so much to be done. I don't have any hesitation saying that.
There are
because we have
persons
done a lot.
There are persons who would say otherwise.
Yes, of course. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But when you put it down on paper and you present the facts, it's difficult to argue. Azard, let me ask a question. Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
What rating out of 10, and I'll ask Jamster, and I don't know who else is in the studio with you because I can't see. A question, in the scale of 1 to 10, how well has the government done in bringing good governance structures into the country?
I see that a number of when you look at the legislation, I could talk about the integrity in public life. I see the fact that they're looking for persons to declare. I would focus on that. The others I have not seen really being used or utilized. I could say for that,
because there's no corruption, so there's no need to charge anybody under the Anti-Corruption Act.
I could see that, and then even that with the constant for the constant deadlines extensions being given, persons ask the question whether or not the extensions were for your colleagues to actually file if they had so those are questions that persons had, whether or not it was just just for your colleagues to prepare. So I look at all the legislation that you have been in charge of, and that's good. And legislation can be passed. It's for the ordinary citizens to actually understand the legislation and use that as their guide and their tool to keep members of parliament accountable. So when you look at a legislative perspective, there has been a lot of legislation being passed during your time. But again, what I grade a government on is how the people feel under their governance. If persons are feeling stifled and persons are feeling as if you could talk a good game, but in my shoes, I'm not feeling the good governance or the goodies that you say you're giving. I'm not feeling it. I'm not. So it's one talk on the government and another in a feeling of the people. Another thing that I look for performance of government is the projects that they say they're going to do, whether or not they keep their word as to the timeline of those projects, and whether or not those projects are completed. A lot of projects or a lot of things that the government say they're going to do physically, it's not done.
Gath, and I would like to ask and comment on this. And someone just told me about this, and it turns out this is one of my pet peeves when it comes to the whole integrity in public life structures that we need to put in place. Campaign finance reform. I would love to see a system where we have a nice, tidy, economical election season that is properly regimented. We have debates. We know exactly where people's money is coming from. Perhaps we have a system where the campaigns are actually financed by the government, and everything is thoroughly
that's interesting.
Everything thoroughly checked and balanced. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I can tell you that the Anti-Corruption Act has specific campaign provisions. So I want you to take a look at it. That's a difficult question. That requires, if you are going to have the system like the US, you need a whole entire office to
I want to have a system like Canada. That's what I'm saying.
How does Canada work? Tell me about Canada.
They have well, in layman's terms, they have a system where I think the government funds the parties. They give, not that the parties don't get funding from donors, but everything is out in the open. You know exactly where the money is coming from, how much money was given. The government gives a certain amount of money to each party. The season is 6 weeks, whatever. End of story. You have the election.
Yeah, but
Not
Canada income tax is like 60%. The government could afford to give the parties money for campaign.
Well, yeah, but that's a side issue. The core of the issue is that we need campaign finance reform, so we don't have all this dark money floating around, and that just leaves us to speculate as to, well, what is these guys up to? You know, that kind of thing.
My concern with this,
Understood.
two
But
statements.
you also agree that if the anti-corruption legislation creates a specific offenses for paying somebody campaigning to give them a job after they win, or give them a contract after they win, that making that illegal also helps with that process, right?
Mm-hmm. So we have a question from Chef. Chef,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, it's a question and it's
Chef
it's
is
a
there.
comment.
Yes.
Yes, guys.
Yeah, that's
Chef,
what
how
we're
are
telling
my
you. Yeah.
classmate.
Yes.
So, first of all, I can understand when he said in lieu of, payment from private practice. I can understand because if you haven't been around ministers, you wouldn't know the sacrifices that they make. The sacrifices in time with their family and other things. They're always on call, whether they're in parliament or representing the country or just walking down the street. They're always on call. And the professions that a lot of these people come from are high-paying professions. So in order to give up their profession in service to the country, there should be some compensation that makes sense, right? But on the other end now, because of what people are saying on the ground in layman's terms, of course, when we are being told that the increase is because, look at regionally what the increases are. We're based on the Singapore model and all these things. I don't think common people really get that. And then the fact is when certain programs are discontinued or they don't get a dividend payment or full dividend, the reason is given the economy, right? The economy is in this condition now. Now, I think the troublesome part with this is that, again, all that's being put forth, or most of it, let me say, that's being put forth to recommend the increase is more of a comparison to what's going on globally and regionally. But I would like to hear the reason as far as economics. How is the country doing economically that can warrant this increase? And I think because when you think of these salaries, they're higher. So an increase it adds up to quite a bit. It's not, in my estimation, way out there, because when you look at people in private companies and what the managers and the CEOs get, it's not even up there. But in people's mind, they're saying, well, if we can't have this and we can't have that because you're saying the economy is bad and your salary is way higher than the average person, what evidence do you show that can say, okay, well, we can afford to pay this? People want to know, can we as a country afford this increase? So I think that's one of the issues that people have, is not just comparing, well, look at what Jamaica gets and this get and that get, but a matter of, well, look at what's going on the ground and is it fair and can the country afford this? So if something is put forward in that way, I think a lot of people would understand it a lot better.
Yeah, that is an excellent way to view it, because that talks about the macroeconomics locally and the microeconomics locally. So, for example, typically one of the gauges of economic performance of a country is low unemployment rate. So you look at whether there's a high unemployment rate, which means that the businesses in the country are not making enough money to hire people. So I can tell you the unemployment rate is extremely low. I personally post a lot of job vacancies on my WhatsApp status, and they are frequent.
When was
the Prime Minister mentioned the other day that one of the hotels was begging for workers because they couldn't get workers. And I'll give you another example I know from personally. There are a lot of Windward Islanders. One of my friends said that 3 of her friends' family members came from the Windward Islands one Friday, and they had jobs by the Tuesday.
Okay,
so when you look at the job market, there are lots of jobs. What I think is slower than what we expected 18 months in is construction, and we are trying our best to get that churning. I can tell you there have been as I said yesterday when I spoke about the Procurement Act, the current procurement system kind of, it doesn't allow everybody to participate, and that's what we want. So it kind of slows down the wheels of government when it comes to construction.
Okay.
So I firmly believe that this quarter, by April, there will be sorry, by the end of March, there will be significant construction activity that will help with that particular issue, because at the end of the day, we have a lot of construction workers and they have to be engaged.
Can I ask
when you
real
look
quick,
at the other part of the economy, look at the money that was spent in Christmas. All the car dealerships sold their cars. The Japan boat came full. Last June, the Inland Revenue collected the most taxes it has ever collected in its history. The budget is $1 billion budget, and we are making more than we are paying out.
Okay.
So when you look at those macro and microeconomic factors, right? I'm not saying the government is perfect. I don't think any government would be perfect. But my argument would be that we have done a lot to stimulate the economy. Look at tourism.
Before we go on
Look
to
at the
that,
number of
before we
flights
go,
that
we have 1 minute, Gav.
we have about 1 minute.
We need to have Gav come in, I think, because this discussion is.
Let me say that a lot of persons are making the saying.
Oh, you're telling me I could talk for 1 minute more?
Yeah, but
we have another segment.
But before you go on,
I have said my part.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that is my view. Being on the inside.
But
I welcome.
Of course, we can invite Gart.
Yeah, this is an invitation. We need to have you in studio.
But Honorable Attorney General, before you go,
before you talk shows like this are important.
Before you go,
hear from everyone.
Before you go, we want you to.
Entitled to our own opinions. It's a free democratic society. What we're not entitled to is our own facts. Facts are facts. So when somebody says that a minister's nightly per diem is 400 US, and it's really 100, you shouldn't be giving an opinion on that false fact. That is just sensationalizing.
Understand.
And so I want to be able to bring the facts. And at the end of the day, a 15,000 EC dollar, they are supervisors, not even managers. They're supervisors in this country, in back rooms, who make a bigger salary than
and I'm glad you make that point, Honorable Attorney General. It's something you could consider going back to Parliament. A lot of persons are saying the positions that you hold are positions of sacrifice. You can't compare private company with public service.
Really?
And to compare them would mean that it gives the perception that you're going to office to enrich yourselves.
Well, Gat, there's one thing I want to say before you leave. An issue was raised when you talked about people coming from St. Vincent and having a job like 2 or 3 days later, and that raises another issue. I'm not saying that I know that we have free movement.
Are you anti-free movement?
Kind of. Straight up. But
even OECS?
We can.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying. I'm saying there should be a system where it should be ascertained that the job cannot be filled by SKN citizens,
no, but that
nationals
is anti-free movement. How it works is OECS right now, persons have the right to move freely and work without a work permit. Work permit system allows you to control that process. What is being discussed, I can tell you at the high level, is whether CARICOM full free movement should come into force. And that is a debate that the people must have. Because CARICOM extends to some of the larger territories, Jamaica, Guyana, Trinidad, Barbados, etc.
It'll be wonderful for you to come into studio, because we have questions. I have questions about the procurement. And
is that an invitation, Azard?
Yes, an official invitation.
Absolutely. And as it is for the transparency of the process.
I wish you all a wonderful morning. Thanks for listening me out.
Okay.
And Azard, before you make a final position, I want you to listen to my presentation from yesterday. It's not very long.
Okay, no problem.
I will too.
Okay. Everyone take care.
Have a great weekend. Okay, guys. It's 9:33. We're gonna go to the commercial break. We got the fireman coming up next. Fireproof.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Grams the good food, people always there to serve you. Grams the good food,
Are you looking for a new dining experience to whet your appetite? Explore the flavors of the world at Pangea Multi-Cuisine Kitchen and Lounge. Our menu features Latin, Chinese, Mexican, and Indian cuisine with a local twist. The cozy and elegant ambiance provides the perfect backdrop for an unforgettable dining experience. Whether you're in the mood for a romantic night out, a family dinner, or a business lunch, our restaurant is the perfect place to discover new tastes and enjoy a delicious meal. Book your table at Pangea Multi-Cuisine Kitchen and Lounge today by calling us at 465-9100 or visit our website at ktcsvdm.com and our Facebook page at Pangea by KTCS Limited. We are located in the heart of Port Sante Bastille St. Kitts. Come and explore the flavors of the world.
My 36, it's time for Fireproof. We've got the fire officers on deck, and it's all about today's edition of Fireproof. We didn't have any last week, and apologies for that, but the officers were very understanding, given that last week was Love Week and all that. And not Fire Week, but I kid. Okay, go right ahead.
Morning radio, folks on the radio land. Morning to the host and this wonderful talk show of Island T, a very popular show. We're very happy to be here on a weekly basis to share information on the general public.
Indeed.
As it relates to firefighting. And the last time we were here, the statistics unit came and they gave us some they gave us some numbers based on the performance of the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire Rescue Services. And in Mr. Bloice's speech, he made reference to a number of areas there, especially wildland fires and forest scars that decrease. But as my good friend next to me, even though we had a decrease, still indicated that they were still too high. One fire is too many. So we still want to ask persons to desist from making prank calls and starting fires that may spread from one area to the next. Taking into consideration, we're now having water rationing. I don't know if persons are aware, based on my knowledge, the water distribution system, once there isn't any water for domestic purposes, I don't think there's any water in the hydrants. You have to be very careful.
Yeah.
Because there isn't anything right now based on what made to understand, just for firefighting, just for farming, just for industrial use, and for those domestic use. The water that they're pumping from the source, it goes into some major pipes, some medium and some small pipes, and distribute through the whole water distribution system. So, don't want person to feel that if no water is in their home, water is there for firefighting purposes. That's a no. So we have to be very, very, very careful. So we're asking persons to continue to adhere to our fire prevention measures and stop the lighting of any bush or garbage in the land and the property. I also want to ask persons to create a fire break. A fire break is maybe a 4 to 6 feet low vegetation area where we can prevent fire from, let's say you have a neighbor with an empty plot of land with large vegetation close to your property. It can, once those vegetation are on fire, it can spread over into your property and causing damage. So if you have this little 4 to 6 feet diameter away around your perimeter, it can prevent the fire from, we call it that we starving the fire. I don't have the sufficient fuel.
So you mean keep that area 4 to 6 feet going towards the wasteland trimmed?
Trimmed.
Very
Yes.
low.
Very low to prevent the spread of fire. Because we don't want an area, we don't want an instance where, let's say, in St. Mary's, where we have a lot of fires, and the water, we have some water situations over there. Because we have to tap into the water distribution system for firefighting purposes. It left minimum or no water there for domestic use. And that is a result of person being neglectful and malicious, starting these fires. So we now have to respond to get these fire extinguished. Let's say we have a situation of St. Peter's now. We are in St. Mary's, fire at St. Peter's, no water in St. Peter's. For us to leave from Kayan, journey all the way to Keys, come around along the bypass to St. Peter's. By the time we reach up there, hopefully not, we have a catastrophe. To bring in Sunny Point, yes, we can bring in Sunny Point. What if Sunny Point is busy?
Yes.
Or what if while Sunny Point is on the way to St. Peter's, they get a call saying, please return, there's a major fire in Oldwood. So based on what we're having with the water situation and our limited amount of fire tenders, we continue to ask persons to cease and desist from lighting any garbage in the yard and continue to adhere to the fire prevention measures in your home so we can eliminate any sort of fires or catastrophe in St. Kitts and Nevis.
I think that is good information to share to the public so they are aware of the situation at hand in the event that there is a fire.
Yes,
and some of the challenges that arise.
Yes.
Yes, good morning to all and good morning to the listening audience. I too find that this topic that Mr. Clark chose this morning is a timely one, as we are now fast approaching what we call fire seasons. Because what most people do not know is that most of the major bushfires we have, most of them start from person's backyard. Just having a small garbage fire, the place is so dry that the least effort the fire got is just run straight into the vegetation anywhere close.
But let me ask you a question. These bushfires, oftentimes they started by individuals who burn and lose control of the fire. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, for the last 2 weeks, I think I've been to 3 of them where persons would have started a fire. They say, boy, they just went to the restroom and come back or something like that, and the fire is out of control. It gives us a issue getting it controlling from the fire department. And I'm glad Mr. Clark would have touched on the water situation for now, because during fire season it actually just gets worse. And I would like to ask the general public again, to stop lighting the fires. We have a lot of fires in yards, garbage fires, persons other than getting somebody to dump stuff to the solid waste landfill. They choose to burn them in the back of their yard. And I don't know why the police haven't been stepping down on it, because it's a part of disturbing the peace. Nobody wants to know that they just put up the curtains and somebody gone and light a fire in the neighborhood and smoke them up. You gotta change your bedspread and all of that.
Could be seen as a nuisance, the ability to enjoy their property by the actions of their neighbors.
And I would like to say also that the fire department is working on the Fire Act. It should be enacted very soon, where persons would be charged. You pay a fine for lighting fires, because the truck running up and down the place, persons see it as a fun. A lot of persons see it as unnecessary. But once the fire department is called out for a fire, they must respond. And in responding to somebody just got a barrel of thing light in the yard, the resources that the government spends, the government use up, because the diesel time, the wear and tear and the engine going back and forth, the water that we using, that you causing us to use and not paying for, all of that is being considered. And I think when persons actually are made to suffer the consequences of their action, they would choose a better path. And I look forward to certain things coming on stream, to those legislation coming on stream.
So recommendations have been made already?
Yes.
Okay.
The age is listening, I guess.
And
age was just on.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yes,
and
yes,
as age was just on as well. So I mean, if he's still listening, then he has to know that the fire department is saying that these recommendations are necessary and should be looked at.
Well, we're getting the Fire Act back together, and hopefully soon, within a month or two, it should be presented to the office of the AG.
Okay.
For scrutiny.
Wonderful. So you have mentioned, is it out of all of the recommendations? Because you know them from memory. Some. What are some of them that stand out to you? So the general public could be aware, perhaps, of some of the things that might be a part of it.
Well, for the general public, it's
So the
the
public,
hydrant.
yeah. So the
For
public.
the hydrants, the fire hydrants. Persons have a tendency of parking over or next to fire hydrants, which makes it inaccessible to the fire department when it's time to use. I've had situations where persons in the Kean community in a specific area, you go there 2-3 times and don't care how much you tell them, do not park that vehicle there. The vehicles are still parked over the hydrant, so you can't even go to clean it, to check it, to do anything to it. And it is an offense. Where persons would take them things seriously is if their property, because the hydrant is not there really for us, it is there for us to use, but it is there to protect the community in the event of. So we are just tapping into it. Persons that have maybe more than one vehicle might have got park a vehicle there, and I wouldn't like to say willfully, but if you speak to somebody about it 2-3 times, you got to conclude that. But they have more than one vehicle. A vehicle is left there, and they're going to work with another. So if there's a fire in their property or their neighbor's property, you can't access that hydrant. It make no sense looking 100 meters down the road for another one. Wasting an extra 2 lengths of hose, and then the pressure you're going to get because you're running it from so far as opposed to the one that is right there, it would be a little bit down. The time, you have to be considerate to a lot of things. So yeah, the parking in and over hydrants, that should be a fine imposed. It would be a ticketable offense.
Okay.
The lighting of fires, making of false cars, because what we do at the fire department again, persons are not readily penalized, but you could see the numbers that call in most cases. And you get called out for a fire in this area, and then the same person gonna call you back and tell you why you got a fire, maybe a different community also, but you have to respond. And then after you're checking up is false cars. Somebody just like the amusement seeing the truck running up and down, maybe them and want the fireman fall out, so they are disturbing.
So you're saying there's nothing in the legislation as is right now to deal with false calls, and put in a penalty for those?
I don't know if there's anything in the Small Charges Act, but other than going through the police department, fire is putting a legislation in place where the fire department would be able to deal with that. So it's not a second hand waiting on somebody else now. We go out, we assess what is going on, and we put what we have to put in place.
Okay.
There are other issues, and we should have touched base with the traffic department on this one. I don't know if the chief or anyone from the department have done so as yet. But the getting to and from scenes. A lot of our motorists have no respect for the sirens, the police, the ambulance, the fire. You're driving, going about your business, you're going to whatever the emergency call is, and persons just either try to outrun you and they're tying up the traffic in front, failing to pull over at their own pace, and sometimes it becomes a nuisance. But for now, the most we could do is try to get a number plate, call the traffic department. I haven't heard of anyone being penalized for the matter. I know persons were spoken to, but to say being penalized, I haven't heard about it.
Okay.
But the fire department is putting in something where if this happens while on an emergency call, you could be ticketed.
Okay. Well, so we have the false calls. Any other that you would?
Well, the setting of fires. Obstruction of duty while out. You know, sometimes somebody, they bad enough they light the fire in the yard already. And you got to try out it and boy,
and then
it's something else.
As you indicate the setting of fires, there would be legislation in place, maybe not in that act, that area, but where, you know, arsony and all of those things like that. So, okay, but then it's to look at other legislation and see how you could tie them in to work together uniformly. But yeah, but it's
yes,
good
we
to
have
raise those concerns.
we have gained access to a number of fire acts, fire codes throughout the region and internationally, and we've been going through them and, you know, see what works for us and trying to put things in place as best as possible.
Okay, sounds good. It's always good to strengthen the legislative arm of the department and to see where, you know, they could make changes to actually correct behavior, prevent behavior, and encourage certain behaviors. So it's good to see that that is happening. Anything else that you want to share with us?
Well, persons have been giving us some advice as it relates to how to light fire, to start fire without the fire being spread to one area to the next.
They have been giving you advice?
Dig a hole and...
Yes.
The fire spreading is one aspect, but the health concern of the citizens is another.
Yes.
So though we can dig a pit and throw in the garbage and light them, the smoke will get airborne and the wind direct going to blow the smoke all around and have persons who have asthma to have some attacks, and normal persons, because we do not know what they are burning.
Yeah.
It can be hazardous materials that can deplete the ozone layer and cause internal damages to us as well. So basically, our main instructions are to get them to the landfill, and at the landfill do what they have to do best in order to deal with the waste. Burning of waste is prohibited. Get them pay a little fine and take them to the landfill, because I don't think the dump trucks that goes around on a daily basis, they're not collecting these types of waste. They're leaving them for you, but persons don't have anything to do with them. They want to tread them over guts, they want to tread them in an empty plot of lands. Then when the owner of these empty plot of lands, when they are reached and they're seeing a lot of garbage. So the best thing you tell yourself, let's burn it. That's going to spread from one area to the next, and you're going to have a major fire. So basically, we are the fire department. We're still urging persons to do what's best and stop the lighting of garbage.
Yeah, very important.
And what I know that the fine for illegal dumping is $500. And it's much cheaper than calling a truckman to tread them over solid waste if you're caught.
So those are considerations that have to be made, and especially when legislation is put in place at a certain time when $500 might have seemed like a hefty fine, but we realize with the cost of living and the raise in salaries that the $500 might not be seen as a deterrent when it is that the fine is less than actually getting somebody to do it for you properly.
You guys want to squeeze in a couple of calls?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Fireproof? Okay, well, we lost that one. Hopefully, we just had 2 calls, so hopefully we'll be able to get one or two before you guys wrap up. Okay, so you guys can continue in the meantime.
Okay, no problem. So tell us as well, as it relates to...
Oh, here we go. Let's try it.
Okay.
Fireproof, go right ahead.
Okay, just the prevention better than cure, you know. So we just a while ago concerning the burning and the aspect of the thing of the burning is, you know, is considered wrong. Garbage. So won't it be better if we put things in place to stop the whole heap, you know, because we can't stop that, you know, if the policies, you know. So people like you know, are to be part of the campaigning for policies to be put in place and be implemented, you know, right through towards, you know, so that people know when they do these things that they may go to prison, you know, and the fine is not so ridiculous as it is right now, you know. Yeah. Prevention better than cure. Blessed love.
Thank you so much. So we have 4 minutes until we conclude. As we look at, we've been here with the officers. We've been talking about.
Let's take another one.
Okay, we have another call?
one coming in
Okay.
here.
That's wonderful.
Caller, go right ahead. Fireproof.
Yeah, hi. Good morning.
Morning.
Hey,
Good morning.
There is
Good
a
morning.
large increase in the number of persons or activities on the marine environment, party boats, that sort of stuff on sea. And of course, you have some cooking, maybe barbecuing and all at times. Who is responsible for if you have a fire on sea, who is responsible for showing up to assist them? And do you just give people permission to be on sea and have barbecue or any kind of cooking? Is there some kind of insurance involved or implicated? Should they be insured? What is the policy? Who the first responders? Who would be the responders for fire on sea during one of those entertainment activities? Would you speak to that first, please?
All right, if I may answer that question, and thank you for your question, caller. Anything on sea, the vessels are responsible for, and the Coast Guard. The vessels, when they have any activity, should have persons trained in any emergency that could possibly occur, and persons may have to either deal with any altercation or anything, in terms of restraining anybody, for the evacuating of the vessel if needs be. So they should be trained completely to deal with it. But once there is an issue at sea, the Coast Guard would be called out, and the Coast Guard would assist ably in any area which is needed. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, let's take one more. We have 2 minutes left. Fireproof, you're last. Okay, well, looks like that person lost out rather. What's wrong with my grammar? What's going on? Okay, Fireproof, go right ahead. Go ahead, you're last caller. Go ahead.
Good morning. There was recently a gas tank involved in an accident, right? My question, do they work with extinguisher, fire extinguisher?
Good morning, caller.
I think they're referencing that
Yeah.
thing that you she
couple
experienced
mornings
it.
ago,
Yeah.
like on the flatbed trucks that were taking the small gas tanks, I think. I don't know, look at one of the wheels broke off, so the whole thing toppled over in the road and traffic was tied up.
That's a very good
and
question.
it was very close to up there as well. Yeah,
Shell.
just the other morning.
Yes, sir.
It's like Monday or Tuesday, something like that.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good question. So
Yes, to answer the question, all of the fire trucks do have fire extinguishers on them. What we do...
no, I think what the person was asking is if
the
like
trucks.
they're like Delta and Sol and all these people who deliver.
Yes, persons, it is mandatory and for them, even at the gas stations. And so if you look around, you would see those small fire extinguishers placed in different areas. Any of the trucks delivering them, they should have on. But To say whether or not that truck had on, I would like to assume that yes, it had on, because it's a delivery truck for CNC it was, and they know what the rules are. All of the fuel tankers, the diesel tankers, everything, once you see them moving, they have on at least 2-3 of those extinguishers on them. That's a mandatory something that is in place.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock. We're out of time, so I'll give you guys the last word for Fireproof for today.
Yes, thank you very much for having us once more, and I'm going to continue to urge the general public, both tickets and navies, to continue to be fire-wise, think about safety, while using the roads, while lighting, when trying to cook, anything that we're dealing with safety. We're asking persons to continue to adhere to the principles and continue to involve the fire and rescue services. If you have any questions, if you need any training, if you need any advice, please reach out to us so we can make St. Nevis a better place to live and to continue to be safe in. Thank you.
Sounds good. Okay, so 1 until after 10 o'clock. That's going to do it for Fireproof and Island Tea for today. And
have a wonderful weekend.
Yes, please do. Bye.
And fire-free week.
Yes.
Yes. Of course.